technical channel. In this video, we are going to look at some of the basic commands. This video will be for completely Linux beginners. So uh, only few operations, like few commands will be taught in this video. Uh, I will be demonstrating the operation on Windows machine over right side, and the same operation will be done on the Linux machine on the left side with the command. So let's get into the video. First of all, we need to check on this path, what is the path of this folder. So I'll just click on the address bar and it will give me the complete path like C directory, users, username, desktop, tutorial. The same, if you want to see the path in Linux machine, we have pwd command. Here you will get exact path right from the beginning, like slash home slash username slash folder name, etc. So pwd is present working directory, where it will print the current working directory of any user. The next command is how we can make any folder. Like in Windows, we used to do right click new, then folder. It will ask you for folder name. For the same in Windows, we use mkdir command, test, and the folder name. If you want to create a non-existing folder inside a non-existing folder, like here I'm able to see, before that ls is used to list out the contents of this folder. So I have only one folder, test folder, inside my tutorial directory at Linux. If I want to create two consecutive folders, uh, but they are not present inside this tutorial folder. Okay, so what I will do is mkdir folder 1, inside folder 1 I want folder 2, and inside folder 2 I want folder 3. Okay, so if I just click enter over here, it will not create, because it's saying cannot create a directory, no such directory is present. Okay, so if you want to do it in one command, uh, you can do it like mkdir folder 1, then go inside folder 1, and then mkdir folder 2, and then go inside folder 2, and then create mkdir folder 3. But you can do it in the single command using -p switch. It will create parent directory if not present, and then it will create all the subdirectories. If I ls folder 1, it will show folder 3, and if I ls folder 2, if I ls folder 1, it will show me folder 2 is present inside folder 1, and if I ls inside folder 2, it will show me folder 3. Okay, so this is our directory structure. Current directory is home, username, folder name, and inside folder 1 we have folder 2, inside folder 2 we have folder 3. You can verify using this uh, command. Like if you want to go inside any folder, you will use cd command. Like if I want to go inside this folder, test folder, then in Windows we just need to double click, you are inside that folder, and you can verify the path using address bar. Okay, and if you create any file over here, new text document, then you can do the operation over here. So for same we use cd command. It is for change directory. I'm changing directory to folder 1. If I list contents, I will get folder 2. Then if I go to folder 2, then I will have folder 3. So in this way you can recursively create directory under directory. If you are in any other directory, like I am inside the folder 2, and if I want to go to tutorial 1 folder, then I will be having two options: either go from this side towards tutorial, or go from slash towards tutorial. I will show the both ways. If I want to go to folder uh, 1 from folder 2, let me just print out the current directory. I am inside the folder 2 right now. If I just do cd double dot, it will redirect me to parent folder. Sorry, pwd. Yeah, before this command I was into folder 2, and right now I am into the folder 1. Then this is the same as of double dot. You will get one directory, you will go to one parent directory using this command. Yeah, right now I'm into tutorial directory. Let me just go again into folders. Right now I am into folder 3. I have shown you the reverse way how you can go from left, from right to left. There is one way you can go from left to right also. Just type cd, give path from slash, like slash home slash username, and then folder name. You will be in the same folder where you were earlier. So you can do it in both the ways. The next command is ls. In this Using this command, you can list out the four files and folders inside the directory. Let me just create a file over here in Windows. What we used to do, new text document. The same for the same, we will be able. We have three different command in Linux. One is touch. Using touch, you can create any files. Touch file touch. Then next command is vi and file name. Using vi command, you can create a file and edit the same directly. Right now I'm into the vi terminal, and if I want to add any contents, I can add it. Then the next command is uh, forward the standard output of any command line, so any command from command line, and directly give it to the file, and the content will be written into the file. Let me explain. If I uh, want to have this to be printed on my any of my file, like if I went inside any directory, I want all the contents of that directory, means file listings, should be present inside one file. So what I will do is, I will just use command ls. I will redirect its output to any file. In this way, we can redirect any command line output, standard output, to any text file or any file. If you are using single greater than, it will create a file, create a blank file, and it will write the data into that file. Uh, Otherwise, if the file is already present, then it will erase all its content, previous content, and it will write only the current contents to that file. If you want that file should not be overwritten, then you need to specify double greater than sign, and in this way you can write the content of current executed command at the bottom of this file. So let me just show both. If you want to see the content of this file, there is one command called cat and then file name. Okay, this file is having contents like folder 1 test file stdop, test file touch, test file vi, etc. This all the contents this file have. If I want to have any other output to be given to this file, then I should let me just first show the override concept first. Test file std. Yeah, you can see the contents are overwritten with the newer contents. So in this way, if you want to rewrite the file, you can use just single greater than, and if you want to uh, just have just want to add any content, you can use double greater than sign. And in this way, you can check whether this is the previous content and these are the new contents present. So you can check whether the previous content is overwritten or not in this way. So the our next command is copy files. Before that, let me just brief something about hidden files in Linux. If I want to check hidden files in Linux, then I will use -a to it will display me this dot files, and anything which starts with dot in Linux is considered as hidden file, like what we are doing in Windows. Let me just show hidden files over here. There is one hidden file and one hidden folder inside this tutorial folder, and they are like graded out. The same is happens with Linux. If the file name or folder name starts with dot, it will go inside the Linux as hidden directory or hidden file. Let me just show it right now. I'll just create a directory dot hidden. Sorry, you can see the contents, previously listed contents, and contents listed after this command is been executed are the same. Let me create one file with the hidden attribute touch. Again, we can see there are no any updates at this. What if I want to list out all those hidden file? I will use -a. So here you can see dot hidden, it is the folder, uh, and dot hidden file, it is the file. So how will you differentiate between files and folder over here? So ls hyphen A, and L. L is for long listing. So any anything which starts with D over here, these are the file permissions. It is a separate topic in Linux. So if any directory, anything which starts with D inside this, it will be a folder, and anything which starts with hyphen, it will be a file. So you will be able to differentiate like this is the directory. Dot in Linux inside a folder is for current directory, and double dot is for parent directory. There is parent directory for slash, but it won't go, as slash is the most parent, the highest parent directory. Like, let me just show that as well. Yeah. When I list out the content at slash directory, it will show double dot as its parent directory, but for this directory slash directory, parent directory and current directories are same. Okay, so let me move to next command, that is copy command. Cp is the command which is used to copy the files or folders. Let me copy a folder over here. Okay, this is I have copied over here. So the same operation will be done using cp command. Cp, then file name which should be copied. So I'll just test file std output. This file will get copied to test file. The syntax of the command is cp, then file which is getting copied, and file to be copied. This will be the source and this will be the destination. So the file is getting is got copied. Let 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 us just check if the contents are same or not. Test file copy. These are the contents from test file copy which we have copied. Test file. If you can see, both the contents of both the files are same. If you want to check whether this file is correctly copied or not, you can verify each and every file line or each and everything. Otherwise you can do it like use one command, difference between both the file. Let me use the syntax of same. Syntax of diff difference is the same as of copy. uh, diff source file, destination file, or we can say file 1, file 2. To check the difference, we did not got any output, so we can say both of the file do not contain any different line. So in this way we can verify the copy command. The next command is mv. It is used to move the file or rename the file. Let me just move newly created file copy to inside a folder 3. Here this I know that this file is not present inside this folder 3. So if I did not write anything here, then the same file will be copied with the same name. If I write like test file move over here, then this file will be renamed to this name and it will be moved inside folder 3. Let's just verify. We can see inside the dot directory, means inside the current directory, there is no file with the name test file copy. The same file is moved and renamed under folder 3, and we can see it over here. The next command is remove directory. If I have created any empty directory over here, I need to verify the contents of the folder. There are no files present inside this. Then I can use rmdir to remove this folder. It will get removed. Let me just do it for folder 1 as well. What error we will get? Rmdir folder 1. It says fail to remove directory not empty. Rmdir is used to remove directory which are empty, but folder 1 contains folder 2, folder 3 and file, so that it was not removed. To remove this, to remove the folders, you will need to use command rm and -r for recursively delete all the files and folder inside uh, the directory which we are giving over here. folder 1, then folder 2, and folder 3. Okay, so let me just delete folder 3 first. And if you want to check whether it is getting deleted or not, you can use V. It will print out whether it is getting removed or not. And you need to use F for forcefully remove the file without using any authentication or without using any for suppressing error. You will use -F to forcefully delete all the contents of this. So here it says removed folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, test file move. uh, First, this test file move is been removed. Then it has removed directory folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, means this directory was removed. And then it has removed this directory at the very end. So let me just verify it once. So inside folder 1 we do not have anything. Let me just create it over again. We can see the folder 2 is now created. So in this way we can remove the directory which are not empty in nature. Our next command is echo. If I want to print out anything on my command line, I will just use echo, and then this is print on, on screen. Okay, in this way you can print out anything like what you have wanted to print on your screen. You can use this echo command to print out various elements and various environmental variables also, like shell is one of the environment variable, user is one of the environment variable. So you can use this command to print user, etc. Like there are many environment variable. You can just use env. Next command for if you want to print any particular variable, so that you can define var is equal to, then anything like hello, and var1 is equal to world. So I have two variables defined over here, var and var1. So let me just print both. Echo $var $var1. It has printed hello space world, as I did not enter any space over here, so I have to enter it over here, otherwise it won't print like, it will print like this, hello world without any space. So you can do it in this way. You can give space over here and it will print out space. Our next command is locate command. Like you have done in Windows, to search a file, you just went to search tab and written anything, like anything to search. The same do with the locate command. I'm using uh, I want all the files which start with the text test and end with any of the text. So I'll just search all the files. It has given me four names right from the beginning, or right from slash directory. So in this way we can use search in Linux. There is one more way. Uh, we With the find command you will be able to search for the files and folders, and find is very powerful tool. You can do it like execute any command on the files and folder which are found. So you can do that as well in find command, but it comes under advanced Linux operations. Find, then I'll just need to specify the path. I have said that the dot is for current directory. I'm using find command to search inside the current directory. Then what I need to find, I need to find files only. So I will give F. If you want to find any directory, just specify D. Then you need to specify name. In this I will use test star, the same all the files which are having which are starting with the name test, and find inside the current directory. So it have given me three results: test file touch via stop stdup. If I want to find any directory which is starting with the name test, I'll just give type as D for directory. uh, Let me just explain briefly how we can execute the commands on the files which we recently have found out using find command. So I will use the same example. test star. To execute command, you will need to give uh, hyphen exec switch, and then you need to specify what the operation you need to perform. So I'll just calculate the total number of lines inside each and every file. So the syntax will be execute, what to execute, and on each and every file. Then you just need to end the sentence over here. So it has printed me three lines. uh, Test file touch is having zero lines. Touch file we are having one lines, and stdop is having six lines. Let me just verify it once again. Before that, wc is the command which is used to count the words inside the file. So if you do not give any switch over here, then it will print out bits, bytes, and the lines. So here are the lines, total number of lines and bits. So in this way, it will print for all the files. But what if you want to have only line count of only lines? Just give hyphen l switch over here. So it will print the lines only for the containing files. Like stdop was giving us six. Here we have six lines. Vi was having one lines. The vi was having one lines, and touch file is having zero lines. So here is printed zero. So in this way, we can verify the output of find command. So our next command is grep. Here, if you want to have only files to be printed uh, which are having file in their name. Okay, so what we will do is we will redirect the output of this command to pipe, and we will be piping this command to grep command, and we will search for file. Let me explain it over once again. This is the command which we need to execute. We need to list out all the files which are having file as a name inside them. Okay, if I'm confusing you, I'll just use test as a name for the file, or a folder. It doesn't matter for grep. It will print all the things, all the files, folders, etc. inside the current directory, which are having test as its one of the contents. Okay, here we have seen that only files are present, written as we have given for only file. If the device if the file or folder having written file inside its name, then it is printed. Or if the file or folder has written test in its name, then it is getting printed. Grep is used to narrower your search. Like if I want to check my history for particular command, then I will use grep. So let me just grep my history by mkdir, means how many folder I have created. So if I used mkdir grep, then it will list me out like this many folders I have created, and for this folder I have 129 as an entry number in my history. So if I want to run that command again, so I'll just need to do it exclamation mark and the number 207. It will print out what exactly that command has done for us. Sorry, 207, I was confused. Sorry, 207 command was for ls-a. Let me just run a command 203. I have created hidden directory over here, and hidden directory is if yeah, it is already present. Okay, so it should give me an error. Okay, cannot create a directory, hidden file exists. In this way, you can use this numbering to uh, run the same commands again. So you can do that using history command. Our next command is sudo. Sudo command is used for super user permission. Sometimes we are logged in with least privileged user or some lesser privileged user, but we want to perform some operations which requires root privileges. So we use sudo command over there, so that we do not end up having any errors. This is sudo is used for those, like sudo and command name like ls hyphen la. In this way, you can list out the directory contents inside the files or folders where you are not directly permitted to run. Okay. Uh, let's move towards our next command, head and tail. To check to explain about head and tail, if you have gone through this file, test file studio, we have total six number of lines. Let me just print out line numbers as well. We have total six number of lines, and each of the line is having any content present over there. So if you want to have only first, second, and third line is to be printed, so in this case we will be using head command, and we need to give head counts, like how many lines from the top I want to be printed. Like I'm printing only three lines over here, so it will give me one, two, three lines. So the same goes with any number of lines, like if I want to print out 5, then it will print 5. If you do not specify any number over here, it will print till 10 lines. As of now, this file contains only 6 lines. Let me just add any content to this file, test file. So here only top 10 lines are present. Let me just check how many lines are there inside this file. There are total 16 lines. Only from this 16 line, only top 10 lines got printed, because we did not specify any options for after head. The same goes with tail also, but it will print from the bottom of the file. I'm using hyphen 3 to, I want to be I want only three lines to be printed from the bottom. So here we can see only 14, 15, and 16. Only three lines have been printed. Same goes with 5, 10. You can add any number over here. Our next command is chmod. Mod command will modify the permissions given for the file. Here we can see there are total 10 dash, or we can say there are total 10 hyphens, which which we can define our permissions for the user. First bit defines whether it is a directory, whether it is a file. For directory, it represents as D, and for file, it represents as hyphen. The next three bits define the read permission, write permission, and execute permission for the particular file or folder. Uh, and this permission is for currently logged in user. Here we can see this read, write, execute permission is given for this user. Okay, for each and every user created in Linux, by default, the same home page and the same group is created for that user. Unless and until you specify, please do not create a home directory, please do not create any user group, then it won't create. Otherwise, by default, it will create username, home directory, and group for the particular user. And this the next 3 bit used for the group permissions. Then the next 3 bit are used for other permission, other users inside the system. Like if I just get my uh, etc passwd file, this is the file where all users are present. I'm just printing only uh, first column over here. Okay, so in this way we can see there are total some, let's say, 100 virtual user, 100 users are there inside this directory. For each and every user, by default, the home directory and the group and username is created, unless and until specified. Each and every user from this, apart from this user, will have permission to this file as read, on this folder as read folder or execute the folder. So in this way we can define permissions to any files or folders. Let me just change the files and file permissions to let's say hidden files. This file I will change the permission chmod. uh, I have only read write permission over here. So first, in these 3 bits, first bits is having weightage of 4, the second bit is having weightage of 2, and the last bit is having weightage of 1. So if I want all these bits to be present, then I will give 7. By default it is 6, uh, and it is only 4, 4. So by default, if you create any file inside any folder, then by default it will have permissions, uh, read write for the current for the user, then read only permission for the group, and then read only permission for others. Yeah, this works in granular level. Like if the group is having permission, then by default the user will get all the permissions related to these groups. Okay, so if I want to change the permission for this hidden file, I will give all the permissions to all the users. This should not be done in production environment unless and until specified, but you can change the permission. And if I just list out the same, you can see it is been changed to rwx rwx rwx. So all the permissions are given on this file, and you can see the color is being changed from green to some other color. So it depends on system to system. If you have access to the system which displays only single color like white color on the black screen, then the file will be displayed in bold and bold, so you will be able to guess, yeah, this is the executable file, like that. And if you want to change the permission back again, then I have specified that the default permission is 644. And if you see that the same, that is you will be able to get the hidden file is in the same color which it was earlier. So our next command is uname. It is same as of system information in our Windows system, where you will get various information about the system. Like you need to specify -a option, where you will be able to get all the details of the currently installed system. Like for me, it is Linux, and it is I'm using Parrot OS. So this is about uname command. Then if I want to check the connectivity from this machine to this machine, I need to have an IP address of this machine. So let me just go to command line from Windows, and I'll just click insert one, hit one command, ipconfig. Here my local IP address is 192.168.9.74. uh, for Windows, sorry, for Linux it is ifconfig. It has given me my IP address as 192.168.9.136, means both of these uh, machines are in same network. So let me just ping to each and every machine from each other. uh, Let me just use ping, then IP address 192.168.9.74. It is Windows machine IP address. We can see it is we are getting a response from this machine. So we can see the connectivity is, there is no connectivity breakdown between these two machines. And we will verify using ping command on Windows as well, with IP address of 130. We will ping IP address 136. That is our Linux machine. We are getting reply from Linux machine, so we can see the connectivity from both the side is properly uh, maintained. Means we can ping each and every machine from each other. Apart from that, if you want to check a performance of the system, like in real time, there is one command, top. This command will give all uh, the processes which are currently running inside the system, then the load average of the system, how much CPU usage were there. How, if you want to check how many CPUs are there, just click one. It is I have set up only one CPU for me, so it is giving me only zero, CPU zero. Or if you are having four CPUs for this machine, then you will have CPU 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So that's it for this, guys. See you in the next video. Stay safe. Bye bye.